Alright guys, I'm here to show you how to reclock an alternator. So reclocking is essentially when you need to change the location of the mounting position of the alternator. So for example, I already got this one kind of mocked up and where I need it to be, but when I first got it, this mounting bolt was over here, this one was on the other side, and that allowed it to not line up correctly with my Pontiac 400. So the first thing we're gonna do, it's pretty simple. We're gonna take out all the bolts here. You got 1, you got 2, you got 3, you got 4. So sorry about the camera angle, I'm just kind of holding it here in my hand. So you're gonna take all those off, and then you're gonna pull the back of the alternator case off. So the alternator in half here. Now this is where I came into an issue when I pulled it off the first time. So there's these things called alternator brushes. All right, they sit in the holders right here. They look like these guys right here. So my old ones, when I pulled them out, they broke in half. So you got to be really careful because they rest against here, and if you're not careful when you pull them out, they'll break in half. So that's what I'm gonna replace as well right now. So you can see right here, they broke. So there's a way you can prevent that. As you can see, there's a little hole right here from the back of the alternator case. Let's see, right here, you can stick a toothpick in there and hold them to the rear because they're spring loaded. But I did not do that. I was not aware of that, or just not careful enough, and I broke them. So I got new alternator brushes here. Actually comes with the toothpick to be able to hold those to the back. So I guess at one point this was a common thing that people replaced. These little brushes last, around 80,000 miles apparently, and when they wear down and they stop making contact here, the alternator will stop charging. And this was something that people at one time actually used to replace. So not many people know how to do it. So I'm gonna show you guys here. We got 2 springs here. They're caught inside of each other, but yeah, they're caught inside of each other. I'll untangle them. But we got 2 springs, we got the 2 sets of brushes, and the toothpick. So you're gonna take, let me unfurl this here. You can see how there's this little ting right here. I'll link a picture in, or I'll cut a picture in right now of what it looks like when it's all installed together, so you can see exactly how it needs to be put in. But essentially what you're gonna do is you're going to slide this in to this slot right here, and then you're gonna slide the other one in this slot right here. Be careful because this is the alternator diode, and this bar right here is really easy to bend. So you can move it up just a little bit to get it out of the way, but be careful not to bend it too much. And when I clip this picture in here, you guys will see the orientation of what I'm talking about with these tabs. Okay, again, I'm gonna try to show you because I'm just kind of holding the camera right here. But let's see if I can get it focused. All right, you see this guy right here? See how I'm got it on top of here? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push it over this side like that, and then I'm gonna push it in this way. Okay, so now you can see I've pushed it in. You can see the orientation that it takes, and it's gonna sit just like that. All right, now I'm gonna do the other side. This side is a little bit trickier because you got this little diode in the way, so I'm gonna show you how to do that as well. So you can see right here, this piece, this tang right here, is underneath this white plastic piece. So I came in and slid it in from the side. What I'm gonna have to do here is just angle it correctly, finish pushing it in. So right here, just kind of line it up, and then you need to just push it in that way. Okay, there we go. Sorry if you guys can hear my dogs behind me. They're making a bunch of noise, but just ignore them. So, all right. So I've pushed it in enough now to clear that hole right there, you know, so I get the screw through. So now what we got to do is get these brushes into here in the brush holder. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take one of the springs, because like I said, these springs here are what are going to actually hold and push those brushes out towards this part of the alternator. So hang on, let me untangle these real quick. One in the top slot here, and then one in the bottom slot here. Okay, so you got one in the top slot there. Alright, one in the bottom slot. So you're gonna put them in like that. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the brushes, you're gonna insert the brushes into those same blocks, pushing those to the rear, and then you're gonna stick this toothpick through the front here in front of those brushes to hold them to the back. So like that. Okay, so unfortunately it would be almost impossible to show you the process of how I did this because my hands would be all in the way. However, you can see the tab moved a little bit, so I'm gonna straighten that back out. But essentially what I did to get this first one in here, see right there, is push it in. You wanna make sure that the copper wire rides along that slot right there. I pushed it in, held it flat with one hand. I took a bolt like this one, and I pushed it in there in this end like that with one end to hold it, and then I put the toothpick in with the other hand, so that way it held it to the rear like that. You can do it however you want. That's just how I did it. It's a little bit tedious. It's probably one of the most tedious parts of this. And then you're gonna repeat the same with the bottom, same kind of thing. I'm gonna put it in there, make sure it has that same slot on this side for the copper wire, and I'm going to push that toothpick through to hold them to the rear. All right, as you can see, I got them both in there now. So that toothpick was actually too big to go through both of those holes, so I ended up using a paper clip, as you can see. So it's holding both those back, and you can see on the back here. Let's see, it's right here. So once I get my alternator all put together, I'm just gonna pull that out, and then those springs are gonna push those brushes right against the contact points right here, and then we'll be good and you can install the alternator. So all that's left to do right now is to screw in those two posts. So we're gonna screw it in right here and right here using, one second, here we go, these guys right here. There's two of them. They are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where, but they're, at least these ones I'm using are 1/4 inches. So you're just gonna put them in each slot here, and just screw them down. To be honest, I'm sure you could look up somewhere and find a torque for them, but I don't know. So I'm just going to torque them snug because these are all plastic components, and they break very easily. So that'll be it for that, and then I'll reassemble the case, and that'll be it. Okay, so now you can see here and here are snug down. So now we're gonna put the case back together. So this is the important part. Remember which area or which way you want to clock it, so that way it's all back together the correct way. So I'm gonna just take this piece, apply it back onto here. I'm gonna line up these bolt holes with these bolt holes here in the correct order, and then screw it all in together. All right, as you can see, I got it seated back onto here. I wasn't able to really, because again, I'm just kind of got a bad camera setup because I'm just holding the camera, but literally just flipped it upside down, took the case, and just plopped it back onto here. Since those brushes are out of the way, they're not going to cause any interference. And then from here, you're just going to reinstall your case bolts right here. Just make sure it's lined up enough to fit in the hole, and that'll be good. So there, you can rotate it, and then it'll fit right in. You do that all the way around, and we'll do that, and then we'll be done. All right, and as you can see here, they're all just loosely tightened in right now to hold it all together. And see, I got each area installed. The alternator itself, the case is together now. Those brushes are replaced. It's clocked correctly. So again, just to go over essentially what I did was, out of the box, the mounting points on the front of the case were opposite, so they wouldn't fit into my car. So what I did was, as I shown you guys, took these 4 bolts off right here, pulled the case apart. In the meantime, also, which honestly was the probably this video should be named brush replacement, because that's actually honestly the majority of what we did. But we also reclocked it too. So took the back case off, took the front case, turned it so that way it matched up where I needed, and then reinstalled the brushes in the process because I broke them the first time I took it out. So the only thing right here is, as you can see, this that paper clip is in there still. So once I install the alternator in the car, I'm gonna pull those out, or right before I install it, I'm gonna pull those out, just because I want to go back outside and make sure everything is actually lined up correctly before I pull those out. But that's pretty much it. Once those are pulled out, the job is done. And then in theory, if you need to, if you pull that out and you need to do it again, you can stick something back in there, or just be really careful when you separate the cases, because it's really easy to break those graphite brushes again. So that's pretty much it, and thanks for watching.